The memories of Julia do spark an idea for Henry. Henry does get an idea from the recollections of Julia. In order to offer the grant renters some optimism, he plans to start a lottery in which they may win a ticket to live rent-free for the next year with whatever additional money they pay now. The tenants are motivated by the idea, but Mr. Bug keeps undermining Henry. Man, Mr. Bug is awful. In the meanwhile, Julia and Brian had been traveling by car. Brian has taken Julia to Castle Leoch to deliver a message to Lady Ellen, knowing that she was lying about her rash. Julia acknowledges that she may simply go into Castle Leoch and never come out again because she is pregnant. However, Brian gives her a buddy and protection, which is something of value. If he can help her permanently leave Castle Leoch, she pledges to do him a favor. Following some deception with Mrs. Fitz, Julia slips into Ellen's chamber. Ellen acts as though she has no idea who Brian Fraser is, but she quickly gains Ellen's trust after Julia reveals that she is serving as the bridge, which is where these two Scottish lovers first met covertly at the gathering. Ellen has a commitment to Malcolm that, if the fairies have their way, she will be locked in a dance with him for 100 years, at Beltaine, despite her love for Brian. Julia is intrigued by this, and for good reason. In the world of Outlander, Beltaine is a significant day. It is a magical day when time travel is made simpler and the barrier between the living and the dead is weakened. Additionally, Ellen affirms that they will be commemorating Beltaine at the Inverness standing stones that took Julia and Henry back in time. Brian and Ellen reconcile after Julia persuades Ellen to meet him outdoors. Start holding hands. They affirm that they will always love each other, but haven't they just spoken to each other twice? These two move quickly, and agree to get together at Beltaine once again. Julia and Brian escape before Dougal finds them. Ellen now shows Colum the guest list for her wedding to Malcolm in an attempt to persuade him that she is fully on board with her covert plot to flee with Brian. Oh, Ellen, you're a cunning one. The connection between Jamie's father and Claire's mother is strengthened when Julia informs him that Ellen is going to Beltaine with Malcolm. As long as Brian takes her to Inverness with him, she volunteers to act as the liaison to divert Malcolm's attention. Where can she look for Henry? Brian concurs. Even though Henry's lottery plan worked, Isaac Grant is upset that his Bladier didn't do as he had instructed. Mr. Bug offers to murder Henry, but he is let to serve another day. Isaac. But Colum demands that she accompany Malcolm to Inverness for Beltaine in 2 months as his betrothed. He warns that the last person to break off an engagement with a Grant, Graham Finlay, was disappeared into the heather. And to make matters worse, Clan Mackenzie's coffers are empty thanks to Red Jacob's reckless spending. But even with the threat of being poor and getting murdered, Ellen isn't budging. Also being threatened by the Grants is Henry Beecham. Isaac Grant tasks him with collecting the rent from his tenants on quarter day. With the unwanted assistance of Arch Bug, Henry must collect a shilling more, and if he doesn't come back with the extra money, he can expect his head on a pike like the last Bladier. On the day of the quarter, Isaac Grant assigns him the responsibility of collecting rent from his renters. Henry has to get a shilling extra with Arch Bug's unwelcome help. And he may anticipate getting his head on a pike like the last Bladier if he doesn't return with the extra cash. A tenant who is upset about the rent increase punches Henry, and it turns out that this Sassenach is capable of throwing up. As he is taken to the trenches of World War I, Henry goes into battle mode in a fit of PTSD and engages a few Highlanders. The only thing that pulls him out of it is his St. Anthony necklace, which Julia gave him during a prior PTSD episode. He has another flashback later that night, and the only thing that helps him is to caress Julia's necklace and sing, "Take me back to dear old Blighty," the way Julia used to. Album 104. Henry being consoled by Julia. Henry does have an idea when he thinks about Julia. He chooses to offer the Grant renters some hope by holding a lottery in which they may win a ticket to live rent-free for the following year with whatever more money they are willing to pay now. The proposal inspires the tenants, but Mr. Bug keeps undermining Henry. Man, Mr. Bug is a jerk. Julia and Brian, meanwhile, have been traveling by car. In order to send a message to Lady Ellen, Brian had accompanied Julia to Castle Leoch, knowing that she was lying about her rash. Given her pregnancy, Julia acknowledges that she may simply go into Castle Leoch and never come out. However, she receives something of value from Brian, a companion and protection. Trust. If he can help her permanently leave Castle Leoch, she pledges to do him a favor. Following some deception with Mrs. Fitz, Julia slips into Ellen's chamber. Ellen acts as though she has no idea who Brian Fraser is, but she quickly gains Ellen's trust after Julia reveals that she is serving as the bridge, which is where these two Scottish lovers first met covertly at the gathering. Ellen has a commitment to Malcolm that, if the fairies have their way, she will be locked in a dance with him for 100 years, at Beltaine, despite her love for Brian. Julia is intrigued by this, and for good reason. In the world of Outlander,